guys, this is the second video in my beginner series. Last video we did our foundation chain and I had you guys practice chaining 25. So in this video we're going to learn the single crochet and I'm going to show you guys how to turn your work because that's very important. I suggested that you guys work on just a square, do your chain 25, and then we'll do 25 rows down. So what I plan to do is we're going to do 5 rows of the single crochet, and then the next stitch I teach you guys, we'll do 5 rows of that stitch, and so on and so forth. I just recommend that for beginners starting out because it's not a huge project that you're diving into. It's just a little project. It's easy to rip out. It's easy to start over if you mess up, and it's not super overwhelming. And it really gives you a great opportunity to practice these core stitches that you're going to need. Okay, we will get into it. And I will also put a link to the foundation chain video if you guys haven't seen that one yet. Okay, so we chained our 25, and now we're going to begin our first row of single crochet stitches. So we're just going to grab onto our yarn, and what you want to do is we have a chain right here right next to the hook. We're not going to crochet into that chain. That's going to be what's considered our turning chain, and I'll explain that to you when we get to the end of our row here. So you want to go in that very second chain from the hook. If you can see it right here, there's the first chain, there's the second chain, and what we're going to do is we're just going to go into that chain with our hook right through, and just like we did when we made a chain, we're going to, here, I'll start that again, we're going to yarn over, grab the yarn with our hook, and we're going to just pull that yarn through the loop here, and we're left with 2 loops on the hook. So from here, we're going to do the same thing, yarn over, catch that yarn with the hook, and pull it through both loops. That's super important, and that's how you make your single crochet. So let's do that again. We're going to go in the very next chain, put our hook through, yarn over, grab our yarn, pull through the loop. We have 2 loops on our hook. We're going to do the same thing, yarn over, grab onto that yarn, and pull through both loops to make a single crochet. Let's do that again. Go through our loop here, yarn over, hook the yarn, pull through our loop, 2 loops on the hook, then we're going to yarn over, grab that yarn, and pull through both loops. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. And I'm going to show you again. Go through that chain with our hook, yarn over, pull our yarn through this loop, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. And that's the single crochet. So I want you guys to continue on doing these single crochets all the way until you have 1 chain left. So you're going to go all the way down this row until you get to that very last one, and then I'll meet you back there and show you guys what to do next. Okay, so we've just finished up our single crochets for our first row on our foundation chain, but we have our 1 chain left. So we're going to go ahead and single crochet into that last chain, and then what we're going to do before we turn our work and complete row 2, this is a very important step, we're going to chain 1. So just like we did in the beginning for our foundation, we're going to yarn over, catch that yarn, and pull through that loop to chain 1. Then we're just gonna turn our work just like that. And the reason it's very important to chain is that's what keeps your square or blanket, wearable, whatever you're making, that's what helps keep it in line. If you don't chain one before you turn, you're gonna lose a stitch each time you do a row. And what happens is gradually your blanket or square or anything, gradually it's gonna kind of taper in if we don't chain. So now that we've done our chain one, we've turned our work, now we're gonna start round 2, which might be a little bit trickier, hopefully not. So once you've turned, you've got that chain here. It's kind of tricky to see, but you have a stitch. Looks like a V. We're going to go right into that first stitch under both loops that make that V, and we're just going to single crochet like normal, yarn over, pull that yarn through the stitch, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. And again, I'm going to try to show you here. This is the stitch. It looks like a V, so you can see that there's 2 strands of yarn. We're going through both of these strands of that stitch, and then we're just going to yarn over, pull through that stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops on your hook. Hopefully that made sense. I know sometimes it's kind of tricky when you're first starting out to determine, like, okay, what's a stitch, what part do I go in, but it's very important to stay right up here, right under these 2. So we're going to go right in there, and notice that I'm not going in this loop down here because there's, you know, different areas that your hook could go in. We're not going down here because that would be the row that we just did. We're going right under the top of that stitch where those 2 strands are. We're yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, and pulling through 2 loops. So again, we're going to go through that stitch, then we're going to yarn over, grab that yarn, pull through, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And that's what makes our single crochet. So again, I'm going to meet you guys at the very end of this. I want you to stop at that stitch right here before we get to this last one so I can show you how to complete that stitch, and we're going to work on turning our work again. Alright, so we're at the end of our second round here, and I've got this last stitch in this row, and this one's always a bit tricky to see just from turning the work. It can be a little awkward and tricky to see, but you always want to pay attention and make sure that you're going in this very last V here. And like I said, sometimes it's a little tricky, you might have to finesse it in there, but we're just gonna do another single crochet like we did before, and then we're gonna do that chain 1 again before we turn. Always remember that chain 1, it's super important. So we're going to yarn over, get our yarn, and just pull through the loop. Then we're going to turn our work again. So then we're back to where we started. You can see our chain 1 for our turn, and you can see that first single crochet, that first stitch of that round, or row I should say, sorry. So we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to go in and single crochet, single crochet, and then we're just going to keep single crocheting all the way till we get to the end. And this row is a little bit easier to see that last stitch, which is right here, the last stitch of our round. This is from the chain, so you don't want to go into the chain here on the side. You want to make sure it's through this V here. And once we get to the end of this row, you single crochet in this, and we're going to again do the chain 1 and turn. And you're going to keep doing that for a few rows. I suggest doing 3 more rows, but it's really up to you if you want to go longer to get the practice. If you have any questions or concerns about what we went over today, don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below, and please like and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials in our beginning. Okay, thank you guys, and I hope you all have a wonderful time continuing your rows and practicing. And we're gonna jump into our half double crochet next. Okay, bye.